Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to this video, guys. I hope you guys are well, and let's start with this inshallah then. So inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. Inna, basically I'll translate the verse for you and then you can kind of figure out what it's saying. Inna, indeed, yawm al-fasl, the day of the separation, kana, was, miqatan, a set time. Yawma, the day, yunfakhu, on which will be blown, fisur, in the horn, fatatuna, thus you will come, afwajan, in groups and or large armies. So inna is used for emphasis. Now whenever we use emphasis, we're always trying to use emphasis for a reason here. Normally when we're speaking to someone, we don't need to emphasize our statements, right? So in English, for example, like we'll stretch our voices, or we'll say wallahi, or we'll say indeed, or surely, because the other person is not convinced. So the whole point of emphasis in a statement is to convince the other person, basically. So why is Allah first time here in Amma Yatasa'alun saying inna? Because the people now who are being spoken to here, addressed, are the disbelievers, the ones who don't believe that there will be a day of judgment. So Allah is saying to them, indeed, wallahi, there will be. Inna yawm al-fasli. Wallahi, there will be a yawm al-fasl. Yeah, so if you remove inna now, it's basically yawm al-fasli kana miqata. So normal sentence when you say to someone who believes you, who's on your wavelength, like they say. Anyway, so that's the first device that's been used of Balagha over here. And these are the kind of things that you need to watch out for when you're going through the Quran. Yawm, now it's a time now. So time is mentioned. Keep this in your mind now. Yawm, a time is mentioned. Okay, so this is the first time, well, not the first time, we've actually talked about time before, as in layl, the night, and the day, nahar, right? But it's, the Arabs use the word yawm generally referring to a big event, like Eid, Eid day, they'll refer to it as Yawm al-Eid, or maybe, some sort of a big event that takes place that lasts for a couple of days, or even a few weeks. They call it Yawm fulan. Yeah, Yawm fulan, Yawm of such and such, the day of such and such. Okay, so this day, it doesn't mean like a 24 hours, it just means an event, a time. Al-Fasl means something that separates something bit by bit. So everything that's separated bit by bit, you call it Fasl, Tafsil. They've tafseeled it. So the day of judgment, one of its names is Yawm al-Fasl. And interestingly, if you look in the Quran where the word Fasl, Yawm al-Fasl is used for day of judgment, you'll always see that there are two groups of people that have been mentioned there. Here the Fasl, separation is being done between groups of people or their deeds. Now this word, the question is, who is Allah going to separate between? What is this day going to separate between? So it creates in your mind questions. Al, it comes for definition. Okay, to define something, give it definition. So it's like, as Allah is addressing us as though we know this is going to happen. This is like so factual. This is such a fact. It's 110% fact that it will happen. You guys know this. Inna yawm al-fasl. You know that day that you guys all know, al-fasl, in which there's going to be a whole big separation. In other words, this day is going to be known. The hallmark of this day is that people are going to be separated. Things are going to be separated. Deeds are going to be separated. Al-fasl, the fasl. The day, you guys all know that, don't you? So Allah is talking to us like that. Inna yawm al-fasl kana miqatan. Right, so this is called ta'rif, definition, defining. And this plays its role in Balagha as well. Okay, next. Kana miqatan. Kana means was. It's for past, isn't it? But why is Allah using it over here? Like, why is kana being used? And kana normally is supposed to come for the past, something that occurs. Like, imagine there's a guy, you don't usually do kana, like in the future, like today, let's say it's Friday, and I say, okay, kana Zaydun fil bayt. So Zayd was in the house. What am I talking about? Is that what I'm talking in the past? So when you're using it in the future, the Quran does this now. One of the reasons is simply because Allah is free from time and space. So time has no relevance to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's for us. But the other reason is because it's for tahaqquq. As though this is such an absolutely factual thing, that this is as though it's happened. Inna yawm al-fasl kana miqata. Yeah, it's as though it has happened. You people are just messing around, just playing in the world, but this thing has been decided, and it's as though it's happened. That's how sure it is. And that sometimes you say to someone, oh, can you do this for me? He goes, consider it done, as though it's done. Waqt, miqat, it means what? It's from the word waqt, but there's extra words in there. If you notice, extra letters, like a meme and an alif in there. And like the Arabs say, kathratul mabani tadullu ala kathratul ma'ani. The more letters you have, the more, in a word you have, then it has more of a meaning, extra emphasis. Why has this come over here for? One of the reasons for emphasis, Allah is saying, Inna yawm al-fasl kana miqatan. Wallahi, this is something which is 100% is going to happen. It's a time that is going to definitely happen. right? And the other meaning, or the other possibility for the extra letters, is like some of them say, it's an action that on a day that will take place. In other words, you only use the word miqat if you're mentioning an appointment where something's going to happen. Like you go to the doctors, for instance, and you say, oh, you know, I've got a miqat to the doctor. I've got like an appointment in which I'm supposed to be getting to have a checkup. Right? So this is a day in which a particular certain action is going to take place. It's been predetermined. And waqt, on the other hand, it just means any time. Waqt can be morning, evening, night, day, random, nothing special. And also specific. Yeah, miqat comes for something very, very specific as well. So okay, so we've got this, and at the end, obviously, you've got the fawasil. It ends in that kind of miqata, as all the surah, most of it has been ending in that fashion. Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. I want you to think about this now. Allah is saying to the disbelievers, and to us as well, as secondly, we're watching. Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. Day of judgment, or day of the separation, distribution, people are going to be separated. Kana miqatan is something which has 100% been decided. It's been appointed. It's going to come. Yawma, now repetition here. He said yawm and yawm again. Now, Arabs do this for a reason. Yeah, so it's kind of creating in your mind this vivid image now. It's like beating yawma, 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 yawma. So this creates inside of your mind repetition. Repetition is a very powerful tool as well. Yunfakhu, notice here it's the sigha majhul. It's the the wording that's used is passive. Yunfakhu, will be blown into. Who is going to blow? Who's the nafikh? Not mentioned. To create awe inside the person's mind. In other words, when the horn is going to be blown, and you're thinking, what horn? What horn is this? Where is this? Who's going to blow into? What's going to happen? Normally, if a horn's blown, it makes a very loud sound. Imagine Allah is saying there's going to be a horn that's going to be blown into it. Yunfakhu fis sur. It just creates awe, fear, scared. Fis suri, again, the horn. Sur means the horn, trumpet. So it's normally from a bull. They kind of cut off the bull's horn when it dies, and it's empty, hollow inside. Make a little hole, and then you blow into it, and it gives off a loud sound. So this is definite, as though you guys know what Allah is talking about. Allah is saying, you guys know what I'm talking about. And then deep down, you know, Yawma yunfakhu fis sur, and the sur is going to be mentioned. It's going to be blown into. And it's very simple tool. This is. It's like average person knows what a sur is. And it's interesting how the word over there, fasal and sur, yeah, fa'al and fa'al there is mentioned over there as well. So it's a nice sort of like a kind of sequencing of words as well. Okay, so nufikha fi sur, and so it's a horn that's blown into fa. This fa is called fa fasihiyya. Fa fasihiyya is used when basically you have a sentence and you want to cut lots of things out, and then you just want to put fa, right? So you want to say, for example, like if I say to you, can you please make me tea? And then I say to you, when you make the tea, come to the living room. So what I'm saying is I'm cutting out a whole thing. When you make the tea, put it in a cup, put it in a plate, come walk all the way towards. So I'm cutting things out. So when you cut things out, when you cut scenes out, you bring this fa over here. This is called fa fasihiyya. It's deliberately done, and the audience is an intelligent audience, so they know something's missing. They know there's a sequence of events that hasn't been mentioned, and that creates fear as well. It's like you're watching a trailer, and when you watch the trailer, what happens is they'll deliberately cut out scenes of the movie, and they'll put like other scenes, so something's happened before that. It creates curiosity inside of a person as well. Fatatuna, when the horn is blown into, when this horn is blown into, how amazing horn is this going to be? And then you will be arriving, you will be coming. Tatuna, you'll be coming. So hadaf has taken place over here. Something has been omitted, something has been removed. Ta'tuna means you'll be coming. Ata yati, it means to come, and it means movement, very swift movement. Ata yati, unlike ja'a. Ja'a is a bit heavy and it's a bit kind of, takes a bit of time. So ta'tuna, you'll just be coming. Lots of people. Yeah, hordes of people or herds of people will be coming. Ta'tuna. Okay, afwajan is a jama of fawj, which means a large group of people or armies. Large group of people whose aim is one. So, like, you can imagine which group am I going to be in? Like, imagine hundreds of football teams coming, and each one is a fawj itself. Hundreds of supporters of a football team. So one football team, another football team, another football team, each one is a fawj. You'll be coming in afwaj. Which afwaj do you want to be in? Amongst people who are believers, amongst people who are disbelievers, people who are pious, people who are sinners, people who are, repenters, people who are fasters, people who are prayers. Yeah, who do you want to be amongst? Afwaj. You'll be coming in afwaj. It's as though it's out of your control. All these fast scenes are taking place over here. So large groups, again, and the ending is with the fawasil. Now, I've cut short here. I'm not really kind of going into too much depth because I want you guys to think for yourself the past things that we've done. Put them in the comments. Anything that you think I've missed out or anything that comes to your mind, put in the comments, inshallah. Right, let's just sum these up then. So number one, we have ta'keed taking place over here. Inna yawm al-fasl. First time ever, we've got this emphasis that's been used now. Right, as though the audience now needs to be convinced now. Right, so inna yawm al-fasl. Right, number two is we also have in this, if you notice, we've got the ta'rif al for ta'rif the, and this creates inside the person's mind as though they know this. Right, so it's treating the audience as though they're fully aware of this. And then you have munasaba. So this word fasal is very munasab with the surah. The surah is talking about groups of people who differ. And then you have this concept. And one of the things I've noticed in this entire surah is notice this idea of groups, this idea of difference. Yeah, day, night, earth, sky, azwaj, all these things. There's a kind of difference. Yeah, so Allah wants to show, Allah is showing here the wording that befits this. It's very appropriate. Okay, number four, we've got, alright, let's have a look at this then. We've got the tikrar, repetition. So yawm is repeated, one there, you got yawm repeated over there as well. Okay, so tikrar, repetition, it kind of imprints something in your mind again and again and again. Yawm. Okay, so like we said, the heart beating, the repetition. Okay, we also got miqat, which is the time. So yawm is a time, miqat is a time. So time and time, you can see that over there. This kind of concept is a kind of like what we kind of possibly can call maybe a sort of like a jinas in meaning, jinas fil ma'na. Yeah, where yawm is mentioned. I won't write that down, but you guys can just figure it out. So, okay, the next one now. We've also got number 5. Let's add majaz. There's also majaz over here as well. So majaz, kana is used. And the kana can come for, like we said, tahaqquq. Kana is for past. But the kana is obviously in the future. So this is as though it has 100% happened. Number 6, we have the concept of ta'keed again. Right, so miqat, extra letters are being used, emphasis. And we also have this like speciality in the meaning and the actions. Okay, so but I'm not going to write that down. I'm just going to leave that. So munasaba. So munasaba over here with time itself. Yeah, so time is very important because remember in the beginning of the surah we had this mention of Naba al-azim alladhi hum fihi mukhtalifun. So it's like the time, the unity of time, right? That fits the day, the thing that's going to happen in that day. Okay, number 8 is the fawasil. It ends in that kind of in the high note, miqata. All right, so you've got that ending there. Number 9, you've got the okay, we can't put repetition already. Tahweel, okay, the fear that's been created inside the hearts by the blowing, who's going to be blowing into it. And other surahs, obviously, mention nufikha and other things, and so it creates this kind of awe inside of the reader's mind of who is going to be blowing into it, what kind of horn is it going to be. Okay, number 10, we've got is it ta'rif? Okay, we've got definition there, ta'rif. Let's just put ta'rif there. Okay, so we've got ta'rif over there. We've also got, this simple, I don't want to really write anything here for this. Munasaba, you can say maybe, or maybe kind of making it more relevant for the people. Tasweer is a good one, yeah. What is it, tasweer? It creates this image of a horn in your head, this big, massive horn. Now, in reality, this is just taqreebun lil adhan, like they say. It's just Allah is making it easier for us to understand what's being said. It might have no resemblance to a horn itself, but it's just something which makes it easier for us to be able to understand. It might be some great thing in the universe that Allah has, maybe bigger than a black hole or something, that can swallow everything up. Who knows? Allah knows best. Okay, number 12, you have this concept of hadaf there, right? You've also got, you've got many other things as well. You've got the fa fasihiyya there, right? That's being used to create that imagery inside the mind as well. Ta'tuna, movement. You've also got the fawasil there. You've also got the tasweer there. So they've got lots more, and I've run out of space here. Next, the Naba, let's go back now. So the Naba itself, look how Naba fits in. Naba, great. So it's a big khabar. It's an amazing khabar. So you want to bring words which are going to reflect that. So ta'keed, emphasis. Instead of calling it Yawm al-Qiyamah, say Yawm al-Fasl. Fasl fits in more with this. Miqat, time, right? Yawm al-Fasl. And then afwaj and all these extra kind of wordings that we have, which relay some sort of like an emphatic meaning. And then we have the word mukhtalifun. So mukhtalifun means things which are separate, things that are scattered. And then fasl, it kind of separates things, puts them all into groups, right, nicely. Miqat is waqt, right? So then that miqat is going to be unified. It's a unified time. Yawma is being repeated here as well. And yunfakhu fi sur, so yunfakhu fi sur, in other words, you guys are arguing, all of a sudden your arguments are going to be brought to a cease, brought to a stop with this big blowing of the horn, like the referee blows the whistle. It's going to come to a stop. فَتَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا, and so you have the afwaj as well, which means the mukhtalifun fits in with the separation, the groups, the various types. Okay, and we also have, the word like alam najal arda mihadan, and then you went all the jannatin alfafan. So all that description of the worldly kind of affairs of how things work, how Allah has created things, and how all of this indicates toward the greatness of Allah. All of that is also a very important reminder of this as well, because Allah is saying all of this is going to end. Yawma yunfakhu fis-sur, separation is going to take place, and the whole point of all of this is this day of Yawm al-Fasl. It's like we have been created for this Yawm al-Fasl, for this specific time. Everything is gonna like a pyramid, go all the way up to the peak, and it's gonna reach that point, which is the day of judgment. So Allah is reminding us that we're gonna be questioned in this world about this. Anyway, Jazakumullah khair, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any sort of questions, if you have anything at all, any suggestions, please in the comments. Thank you very much, guys. And again, thank you for all your support. Jazakumullah. If you guys want to become a patron, then links in the description below. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.